The gun pressed against Grace Carter's temple made a sound when Dante cocked it. A small click that meant everything.
"Please," Grace's voice cracked. "He's just a boy."
Her 16-year-old son lay 3 feet away, unconscious, machines keeping him alive. Dante Rivers didn't lower the weapon. His hand shook, but his finger stayed on the trigger. "Your boy took my brother from me. Put him in Cook County where they shanked him in the shower. Marcus was 19. Had his whole life ahead of him. Now your son gets the same." 2:47 a.m. No doctors, no security, just one nurse somewhere in the shadows of Mercy General Hospital's 6th floor, and Grace Carter watching her world end. Dante's jaw tightened. "Any last words for your son?" That's when the quiet black nurse in the frayed scrubs stepped into the doorway. Before we continue, hit that subscribe button and stay until the end. Comment your city below so I can see how far this story travels. Now let me tell you about the night Maya Washington stopped being invisible. 3 hours earlier, Maya Washington clocked in at 11 p.m., exactly 11 o'clock. Not 10:58, not 11:02, 11 on the dot, same as every night for 2 years. Marcus Thompson, the security guard, didn't look up from his crossword. "Evening, Maya." "Marcus." 2 words, their entire conversation every single night. Marcus went back to his puzzle. Maya walked past his desk like she was made of air. The lobby of Mercy General Hospital smelled like floor wax and desperation. Maya's shoes made no sound on the polished linoleum. She'd learned that in another life. How to move through a space and leave no trace, no memory, nothing that said she'd ever been there at all. The elevator doors opened. She stepped inside. A doctor got in behind her, already on his phone. "Yeah, I'll be home by 7. Tell the kids I'm sorry I missed dinner. Again." He didn't look at Maya. Nobody ever did. The doors closed. Maya watched the numbers climb. 3, 4, 5, 6. The 6th floor. Cardiac care unit. Her home for the graveyard shift. When the doors opened, Tiffany Brooks was already at the nurse's station, phone in hand, scrolling through whatever people scrolled through at 11 at night. Tiffany was 23, fresh out of nursing school. She looked up when Maya approached. "Oh, good." Tiffany's voice carried down the empty hallway. "The robot's here. Maybe now I can take a break without everything falling apart." Patricia Gomez, the other night nurse, winced. "Tiffany, come on." "What? I'm just saying what everyone thinks." Tiffany stood up, grabbing her phone. "She's like a weird little automaton. Does her job, never talks, never smiles. It's creepy." Maya logged into the computer. Her fingers moved across the keyboard. Click, click, click. "I mean, seriously." Tiffany leaned against the desk. "You ever see her eat? Drink coffee? Do anything remotely human? I bet she goes home and just stands in a closet until her next shift." Patricia looked at Maya. "I'm sorry." "Don't be." Maya's voice was barely a whisper. "She's not wrong." That made Patricia uncomfortable. She turned back to her medication cart. Tiffany laughed. "See? Even she admits it." "Okay, I'm taking 15. Try not to terrify any patients with that dead-eyed stare." Her footsteps echoed away. The break room door closed. Silence settled over the station. Maya pulled up the patient charts. Room 601, Harold Patterson, 68, triple bypass, day 3 post-op. Vitals stable. Room 603, Linda Chen, 71, congestive heart failure, holding steady. Room 605, empty. Room 607, Michael Brennan, 54, recovering from emergency stent placement. She read each chart like her life depended on it. Because once upon a time, reading details correctly had been the difference between coming home and coming home in a box. Patricia cleared her throat. You know you could stand up for yourself sometimes. Maya didn't look up from the screen. Why? Because people shouldn't talk to you like that. People can talk however they want. Doesn't change my job. Don't you ever get angry? Maya's fingers paused on the keyboard, just for a second. Anger doesn't help anyone. Still, you're human. You're allowed to feel things. Maya went back to typing. I'm here to work, not feel. Patricia shook her head and walked away, pushing her medication cart toward the patient rooms. Maya stayed at the desk. The monitors glowed blue in the dim light. Heart rates, blood pressure, oxygen saturation. Numbers that meant life or death, tracked in real time across 12 screens. 2 years ago, Maya had tracked different numbers: distance to target, wind speed, time to extraction. Numbers that also meant life or death, but in a language most people would never learn. She'd been Staff Sergeant Maya Washington then, Navy SEAL Cultural Support Team attached to SEAL Team 3. One of the first women to work directly with the most elite fighters in the American military. She'd cleared buildings in Ramadi, treated sucking chest wounds in Kandahar, held the perimeter alone for 40 minutes while her team extracted wounded operators under enemy fire. The Navy gave her a Silver Star for that. She'd thrown it in a drawer and never looked at it again. Because 3 weeks later, an IED tore her convoy apart outside Kandahar. The blast killed 7 people. Her entire team. Her friends. The people she'd trusted with her life. Maya woke up in a field hospital with burns across her back, shrapnel in her shoulder, and survivor's guilt so heavy she could barely breathe. Medical discharge. Thank you for your service. Here's your DD-214 and a check for disability you'll never cash because it feels like blood money. So she'd come here, to Chicago, to night shifts and cardiac care, and a life where nobody asked questions and nobody needed to know who she used to be. She became invisible by choice. And it had worked. For 2 years, it had worked. Maya began her rounds. She moved through the hallway without sound. Room 601 first. Harold Patterson was awake, watching TV with the sound off. Hey there. His voice was rough from the breathing tube they'd removed that morning. Mr. Patterson. Maya checked his IV line. How's the pain? Manageable. That's what they tell me to say, right? So you don't worry? You can tell me the truth. It hurts like hell. But I'm alive, so I'm not complaining. Maya checked his vitals on the monitor. Heart rate 72. Blood pressure 118/76. Good numbers. You're healing well. Thanks to you folks. Harold smiled. You know, I've been here 3 days and I still don't know your name. Maya. Maya. That's pretty. You been doing this long? 2 years. You like it? Maya adjusted his blanket. It's quiet. Yeah, I bet it is at night. Harold's eyes were kind, grateful. Well, thank you, Maya, for taking care of me. That's my job. She left before he could say anything else, before the conversation could become something that required her to be more than just competent hands and silent efficiency. Room 603. Linda Chen was sleeping, her daughter asleep in the chair beside her. Maya checked the monitors without waking them. Everything stable. Room 605 was empty, waiting for a transfer that wouldn't come until morning. Room 607. Michael Brennan was also sleeping, his wife gone home for the night. The rest of the rooms went the same way. Check vitals, adjust 1-4 drips, make notes, move on. Maya reached room 614. She paused at the door. Through the small window, she could see Grace Carter sitting beside her son's bed. Grace was 52, a home health aide who worked doubles to keep her son in a decent school. She'd been here for 6 days straight. Elijah Carter was 16, gunshot wound to the chest. Wrong place, wrong time. A gang shooting near 47th and King Drive. The bullet had missed his heart by 3 centimeters. 3 centimeters between life and death. Maya opened the door quietly. Grace looked up, her eyes red from crying.
Is he okay?
Grace's voice was hoarse.
Vitals are good. He's stable. Thank God.
Grace rubbed her face.
Thank God.
Maya checked Elijah's IV line. The boy was thin, too thin for 16. His face was peaceful in sleep, no hint of the trauma his body had endured.
You should go home, Mrs. Carter. Get some real sleep. Can't.
Grace shook her head. Every time I leave, I think I'm gonna get a call saying he's gone. I can't risk it. He's past the critical point. He's going to recover. You can promise me that? Grace looked up at her. You can promise me my baby's gonna be okay? Maya couldn't. She'd learned in Afghanistan that you couldn't promise anything. 1 second you were fine, the next you were gone. Life was that fragile. But Grace needed to hear something. He's strong, Maya said. And he's fighting. That's what matters. Grace's eyes filled with tears. You're always so calm, like nothing bothers you. I wish I could be like that. Maya didn't respond. What could she say? That the calm was a lie? That inside she was screaming all the time, every day, every night, because her friends were dead and she was alive, and nothing made sense anymore. My boy didn't do nothing wrong, Grace said suddenly. He was walking home from the library, studying for his college entrance exams. He wants to be a teacher, you know. Help kids like him get out of neighborhoods like this. And these animals just started shooting, and he got caught in it. I know. Police say the shooters might come after him, because he testified, because he told the truth about what he saw. Grace's voice broke.
They killed the boy who was standing next to Elijah, 17 years old. Shot him in the head just for being there. Now they want my son dead too because he told the police what happened.
How is that fair? How is any of this fair? It's not. Grace looked at her, surprised by the bluntness. Maya met her eyes. It's not fair. None of it. The boy who died didn't deserve it. Elijah didn't deserve to get shot. You didn't deserve to spend a week watching your son fight for his life. But he's here, and he's alive, and you're here with him. That's something. Is it enough? It has to be. Grace nodded slowly, wiping her eyes. You're different from the other nurses. Quieter. But I like that. Makes me feel like everything's under control when you're here. Maya left before Grace could say anything else, before the walls she'd built could crack any further. Back at the nurses' station, Dr. James Chen was reviewing charts. He was 46, brilliant, exhausted. He'd just finished a 6-hour surgery and looked like he might fall asleep standing up. Washington? Doctor. Patient in 609 is complaining of chest pain. Check it out. Already did, 10 minutes ago. Heartburn. I gave him antacids. Dr. Chen looked up. When did you have time to do that? When you were in surgery. Right. He went back to his charts. You're efficient, I'll give you that. Shame you have the personality of a wet mop. Maya said nothing. She'd heard worse. She began restocking the medication cart. Everything in its place. Alphabetical order. Organized by drug class. The V. A psychiatrist had called it a coping mechanism. Maya called it being good at her job. The hospital was quiet. Too quiet. Maya's instincts started whispering. Something was wrong. She couldn't name it, couldn't point to a specific thing, but the air felt different. charged. She glanced at the security monitors behind the desk. A black SUV circled the parking lot. Once. Twice. 3 times. It slowed near the staff entrance, then sped up again. Maya's pulse quickened. She memorized the license plate. Illinois tags. 7 characters. LKR 4829. Dr. Chen didn't notice. He was buried in his paperwork. "Doctor," Maya kept her voice neutral. "That vehicle in the parking lot. It's been circling for 5 minutes." Dr. Chen barely glanced at the screen. "Security's problem. I've got 3 post-ops to check on." He walked away. Maya watched the SUV disappear from view. Maybe she was being paranoid. 2 years of civilian life and she still saw threats everywhere. Hypervigilance, the psychiatrist called it. Post-traumatic stress. Maya called it staying alive. She forced herself to breathe, to focus on the routine. Stock supplies, update charts, normal things. But her hand drifted to her pocket. Her phone was there. She could call Marcus, tell him to check the parking lot. She didn't, because what would she say? A car was driving around? That wasn't a crime. At 2:15 a.m., Marcus appeared on the 6th floor for his hourly rounds. He was 62, former Chicago PD, retired to something easier. "All quiet up here, Maya?" "So far." Good. Marcus adjusted his belt. "Crazy night downstairs. ER's got 3 car accidents, 2 stabbings, and some kid who thought he could fly off his garage roof." "Full moon?" "You know it." Marcus smiled. "Brings out all the crazies. You be careful up here." "Always am." Marcus headed for the elevator. His radio crackled with chatter from other parts of the hospital. Maya watched him go. Something in her gut twisted. Wrong. Something was wrong. She couldn't shake the feeling. At 2:31 a.m., the elevator doors opened. A man stepped out. He wore a hospital maintenance uniform, dark blue coveralls, work boots, ID badge clipped to his chest. He carried a toolbox and walked toward the supply closet like he belonged there. Most people wouldn't have looked twice. Maya looked. The boots were wrong. Not the standard issue work boots the maintenance crew wore. These were tactical boots. Reinforced toes, ankle support, military grade. She'd worn the same kind in Kandahar. The toolbox was wrong too. He carried it like it was empty. No weight. No tools rattling inside. And his eyes. They weren't looking for the supply closet. They were scanning room numbers. Hunting. Maya's training kicked in. Threat assessment. Male, approximately 6'2", 240, strong build, moves with purpose. Possible concealed weapon under coveralls. Behavioral indicators suggest hostile intent. The man stopped at room 614, Elijah Carter's room. Maya's blood turned to ice. The man glanced up and down the hallway. His hand moved to his waistband. Even from 30 feet away, Maya recognized the outline. Glock 19, 9mm, 15-round magazine. He pulled out a key card that didn't belong to him and swiped it through the lock. Maya moved. She didn't run. Running would alert him. Instead, she walked with that same shuffling gait she'd perfected. Shoulders hunched, eyes down. Just another tired nurse. "Excuse me." Her voice was soft, harmless. "Can I help you with something?" The man turned. His hand moved away from his waistband. He looked at Maya and saw exactly what everyone else saw. A small, timid woman. Not a threat. "Just checking the AC unit." His voice was smooth, practiced. "Got a work order saying it's making noise." Maya moved closer. "That's strange. Nobody mentioned anything to me. Let me check the maintenance log." She turned toward the nurse's station. He followed. Perfect. Maya reached the desk and pulled up the computer. She typed slowly, deliberately, buying time. Her mind raced. Security was 2 floors down. Dr. Chen was in the break room. Tiffany was God knows where. She was alone. You know what? The man's voice hardened. Don't worry about the log. I'll just check it myself. He started back toward room 614. Maya stepped in front of him. Not aggressive, just there. I really should verify with maintenance first. Hospital policy. We've had issues with unauthorized personnel. The man's eyes narrowed. Lady, I am authorized. Then you won't mind showing me your ID? Silence. The air between them changed, thickened. The man's hand drifted back toward his waistband. Maya saw it, calculated the distance. 3 feet. Too far to disarm before he could draw, too close to run. Step aside, he said quietly. No. The word hung in the air. The man blinked. What did you say? I said no. Maya's voice changed. No more whisper, no more timid nurse. Just cold, flat command. You're not maintenance. Your boots are Oakley Tactical, not Red Wing work boots. Your ID badge is for Building B, not this wing. And you're carrying a concealed weapon on hospital property, which violates Illinois state law. So I'll ask you one more time. Who are you, and what do you want? The man's face went hard. His hand went for the gun. Maya was faster. She grabbed the medication tray from the desk and hurled it at his face. Pills exploded everywhere. Syringes clattered across the floor. The man jerked back, blinded for a split second. Maya closed the distance. She didn't go for the gun. Amateur move. Gun retention training meant he'd keep it tight to his body. Instead, she drove 2 fingers toward his eyes, hard. He flinched, turned his head, brought his hands up to protect his face. That's when Maya stomped on his instep, the vulnerable bones just behind the toes. All her weight behind it. He grunted. His weight shifted backward. Maya swept his leg. The big man went down hard. His head cracked against the linoleum. The Glock skittered from his waistband and slid across the floor. Maya moved to secure it. That's when the stairwell door burst open. 2 more men, both armed, both moving with coordinated precision. One was lean and wiry, maybe early 20s. The other was built like a linebacker, thick neck, heavy shoulders. They saw their partner on the ground. Their weapons came up. Maya raised her hands slowly. 2 guns, 12 feet away. 1 gun behind her, too far to reach. The math was bad. Don't move. The lean one's voice was young, nervous. His gun hand shook. Nervous was dangerous. Nervous people made mistakes. Nervous people pulled triggers by accident. Maya kept her hands visible. You don't want to do this. Shut up. The linebacker helped the big man to his feet. D, you good? Dante. The big man's name was Dante. Dante rubbed his head, glaring at Maya with pure hatred. Little bitch knows how to fight. Then we shoot her and move on. The lean one's finger twitched on the trigger. No. Dante picked up his Glock, checked the chamber. Not yet. First, she tells us which room the Carter kid is in. Then we make her watch what happens when people snitch. Grace Carter. Elijah. Maya's mind flashed to the exhausted mother by her son's bedside, to the 16-year-old kid who'd already survived 1 bullet and was supposed to grow up to be a teacher. Room 614, Maya said. All 3 men looked surprised. But you should know something first. Maya kept her voice calm. The boy's mother is in there. And about 30 seconds ago, I pressed the emergency call button on this desk. Security's on their way. Police are probably already getting the call.
You've got maybe 2 minutes before this place is crawling with cops. It was a complete lie. She hadn't pressed anything. Dante's eyes flickered to the desk, to the small red emergency button mounted on the underside. But he couldn't see if it was activated from his angle. "You're lying," he said.
Am I?
Maya tilted her head. "You want to bet your life on it?" Because Cook County doesn't mess around with armed assault on hospital staff. That's a mandatory 10 years.
And if you hurt that kid, it's murder 1. Illinois still has life without parole. That's a long time to regret a bad decision. Sirens wailed in the distance. Pure coincidence. An ambulance responding to something else, heading to the ER. But the timing was perfect. The lean one bolted. "I'm out, D!" "Jamal, wait!" Dante reached for him, but Jamal was already gone, his footsteps pounding down the stairs. 2 left. Dante turned back to Maya, his face twisted with rage and indecision. The linebacker, Terrence, kept his gun trained on her, but his eyes darted toward escape routes. "This isn't over," Dante said. "We'll come back. Tonight, tomorrow, next week, doesn't matter. That kid's gonna pay for what he did."
No.
Maya's voice carried absolute certainty.
You won't.
Something in her tone made both men hesitate. Dante studied her face, really looked at her for the first time. "Who the hell are you?"
Just a nurse.
"Bullshit. Nurses don't move like that.
They don't talk like that.
You're something else." Maya said nothing. "Doesn't matter." Dante raised his gun. "You're coming with us. Insurance policy. Move." He gestured toward room 614. Maya walked. Her mind calculated scenarios. Once they were in that room, once Grace and Elijah were in the line of fire, there would be no good options, only terrible ones. She had to end this before they reached that door. Maya stumbled against a crash cart. Medical supplies rattled. Both men tensed. "Sorry." Maya hunched over, gathering scattered gauze and tape. Her hand closed around a scalpel hidden among the supplies. She palmed it, blade against her forearm. Invisible. "Move," Dante growled. 15 feet to room 614. 10 feet. 5 feet. Maya's heart rate slowed. Her breathing steadied. Muscle memory took over. She was back in Kandahar, moving through a compound in the dark, every sense heightened, every movement precise. "Open it." Maya reached for the door handle. Her body blocked their view of her other hand. The door swung open. Grace Carter stood beside her son's bed. She looked up, confused, then terrified.
No.
Grace whispered.
Please, God, no.
Dante stepped into the room, Terrence right behind him. Maya stayed in the doorway, invisible to them in their focus on their target. "Your boy killed my brother," Dante said, his voice cracked with genuine pain. "Marcus wasn't supposed to be there that night. He was gonna quit the gang. Had a job lined up at the warehouse, benefits and everything. But they called him for one last job, and he went, because that's what you do when you're trying to prove you're loyal enough to leave. And your son testified. Put Marcus in Cook County. 3 weeks later, somebody shanked him in the shower. 19 years old. My little brother. All he wanted was out, and your son took that from him." Grace's voice shook, but she stood her ground. "Your brother shot 3 people that night. One of them died. A 17-year-old boy walking home from his grandmother's house. Elijah watched that boy die. Watched the life go out of his eyes. He told the truth about what he saw. That's not murder. That's justice." "Justice?" Dante's laugh was bitter and broken. "What justice?" Marcus is dead. That kid he shot is dead. Your son's the only one still breathing, and that don't seem right to me. Killing Elijah won't bring Marcus back. Maybe not, but it'll make the pain stop. Just for a minute. Just long enough to breathe. Dante raised his gun, pointed it at the unconscious boy. Maya moved. No thought, no plan, just training that lived in her bones. The scalpel flashed across Dante's gun hand, tendon deep, surgical precision. He screamed. The Glock fell from his suddenly useless fingers. Maya pivoted. Her elbow drove into Terrence's solar plexus. Air exploded from his lungs. She swept his legs. He went down hard. But Terrence was tougher than he looked. Even gasping for air, he held on to his gun. His finger found the trigger. The shot was deafening in the small room. Grace screamed. Elijah's monitors went crazy, alarms blaring. Maya felt the bullet pass her face, close enough to feel its heat, close enough to smell the gunpowder. She brought her heel down on Terrence's wrist, not a stump, a precise strike to the radius bone. It cracked. The gun fell. Dante was trying to pick up his weapon with his left hand. Blood streamed from his severed tendon, pooling on the white tile floor. Maya kicked the Glock under the bed. "Stay down," she commanded. Both men looked up at her, and for the first time they saw past the scrubs and the quiet demeanor and the invisible persona she'd built. They saw the warrior. "Who are you?" Dante whispered, cradling his ruined hand. Maya didn't answer. She was already moving to Grace. "Are you hit?" No, I don't think so." Grace was shaking so hard she could barely stand. "Get behind the bed. Don't move until I say." Grace obeyed without question. Maya turned back to the two men on the floor. Dante was going into shock from blood loss and pain. His face was pale, lips turning blue. Terrence was curled around his broken wrist, moaning. The door burst open. Dr. Chen stood there, frozen in horror at the blood and the guns and the chaos. "Call security," Maya said calmly, "and police. And I need a trauma kit for 2 patients with non-life-threatening injuries. Severed flexor tendon and radial fracture." Dr. Chen just stared. "Now, doctor." He ran. Maya kept her eyes on Dante and Terrence, watching for any sign they might try something stupid. But the fight was gone, replaced by pain and shock, and the dawning realization that they'd severely underestimated the quiet nurse. "You cut me," Dante said, almost disbelief in his voice. "Flexor digitorum profundus tendon. You'll need surgery, but you'll keep the hand if they do it within 6 hours." "You a doctor?" "Combat medic, Navy. I know exactly where to cut to disable without killing." Dante's eyes widened. "You're military." Maya said nothing. "Marcus was going to be military, Army, had his recruiter appointment and everything. Never made it." "I'm sorry for your loss, but killing that boy wouldn't have changed anything except giving you a life sentence." "Maybe I don't care." "You care. Otherwise you'd have shot him the second you walked in." Footsteps thundered down the hall. Marcus Thompson appeared, service weapon drawn, 2 other security guards behind him. "Maya, what the hell happened?" "Armed assault, 3 suspects, 2 in custody. 1 fled down the east stairwell approximately 6 minutes ago. Young black male, early 20s, lean build, wearing dark jeans and a Bulls hoodie. Armed with what appeared to be a 9mm handgun." Marcus stared at her. "How are you this calm?" "Because panic doesn't help anyone." Marcus looked at the blood on the floor, at the weapons scattered around the room, at Maya standing in the center of it all, like this was just another Tuesday night. "Jesus Christ, are you okay?" "I'm fine." Maya turned to Grace. "Mrs. Carter, you're safe now. Your son is safe, I promise." "Thank you," Grace was sobbing now, clutching her son's hand.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Maya didn't know what to say to that, so she said nothing. Security handcuffed Dante and Terrence, reading them their rights. More staff flooded into the room. Nurses, doctors, everyone wanting to see what had happened. Dr. Chen appeared at Maya's elbow. His face was pale.
The police are here. They want to talk to you.
Of course. As Maya followed him out, she caught her reflection in the darkened window. The quiet nurse. The invisible woman. Except tonight she'd made herself very visible. And there was no going back. Detective Sarah Martinez waited in the conference room. 42, Latina, sharp eyes that missed nothing. She'd been a cop for 20 years, and she'd seen everything. Almost everything.
Maya Washington?
Yes. Sit. Martinez gestured to a chair. Maya sat, hands folded, expression neutral.
You single-handedly disarmed and disabled 3 armed men.
Martinez pulled out her phone, typed something, waited. Her expression changed. You know what's interesting? When I ran your name through our system, I got flagged by 3 different federal agencies: FBI, DOD, and Naval Criminal Investigative Service. That doesn't usually happen with hospital nurses. Maya said nothing. So I made some calls. Martinez leaned forward. Talked to some people at the Pentagon. And you know what they told me? Silence. They told me Maya Washington is a ghost. That she doesn't exist. That whoever I'm looking at isn't in any database because her records are sealed under national security provisions. Martinez paused. But then I talked to someone who served with someone, and pieces started coming together. Staff Sergeant Maya Washington, Navy SEAL Cultural Support Team attached to SEAL Team 3. 3 combat tours across Iraq, Afghanistan, and Syria. Silver Star for Valor, 2 Purple Hearts, Bronze Star with V device for Valor under fire. Maya's jaw tightened. That was the only sign the words affected her. The person I talked to said you held the defensive perimeter alone for 40 minutes while your team extracted wounded SEALs. Said you treated injuries under direct enemy fire. Said you're one of the most decorated female combat veterans in modern military history. Martinez leaned back. They also said your entire team was killed in an IED attack outside Kandahar 2 years ago, and that you were the only survivor. Is there a question in there, Detective? Yeah. Why is someone with your background working night shifts at a hospital, pretending to be nobody? Maya met her eyes. Because I wanted to be nobody. I wanted to save lives without explosions and gunfire and watching my friends die. I wanted normal. I wanted quiet. I wanted to forget. How's that working out for you? Despite everything, Maya almost smiled. Not great. Martinez pulled out a notepad. Tell me about tonight. Everything. So Maya did. She told the detective about the SUV, about the fake maintenance worker, about recognizing the threat and making the choice to engage instead of calling for backup. She told her about the fight, the weapons, the men. She told her everything except how it felt. How for those few minutes, when training took over and muscle memory kicked in, and she moved with the precision of someone who'd done this 1,000 times before, she'd felt whole again. Alive. She didn't tell Martinez that, because she wasn't ready to admit it to herself. When she finished, Martinez closed her notebook. You saved 3 lives tonight. Grace Carter, her son, and probably that idiot doctor who walked in halfway through. The city of Chicago owes you a debt. I was just doing my job. No. Martinez's voice was firm. You did a lot more than that, and now everyone's going to know it. She stood up, handed Maya a business card. If you ever need anything at all,
You call me. Any cop in this city would take a bullet for you after what you did tonight. Maya took the card.
Thank you.
And Maya? Martinez paused at the door. You can't hide anymore. What you are, what you can do, it's out now. The hospital's going to have questions. The staff is going to look at you different. The media is going to want to talk to you. You ready for that? Maya looked at the card in her hand.
No,
She said honestly, but I guess I don't have a choice. Martinez nodded. For what it's worth, I think people need to know there are still heroes in this world. Real ones. Not the ones on TV. The quiet ones who show up and do the hard things because somebody has to. She left. Maya sat alone in the conference room. Outside, dawn was breaking over Chicago. Her shift was over. But her old life, the one where she could hide and be nobody, and pretend the past didn't exist, was over too. She stood up, walked to the window, looked out at the city waking up. 6 million people, and by tomorrow, they'd all know her name. Maya closed her eyes, breathed, and for the first time in 2 years, she felt something other than numbness. She felt terrified, because being invisible was safe. Being invisible meant no expectations, no pressure, no risk of letting people down. Being visible meant all of that and more. But standing in that conference room, watching the sun rise over Chicago, Maya Washington realized something. She'd been hiding for 2 years. Hiding from the world. Hiding from herself. Hiding from the truth that she couldn't run from who she was any more than she could run from her own shadow. She was a warrior. And maybe it was time to stop apologizing for that. Maya turned from the window, walked out of the conference room, and headed back to the 6th floor, because her shift might be over, but Grace Carter was still there. And Elijah would wake up soon. And someone needed to explain to them what had happened and why they were safe now. Someone needed to be there. And for the first time in 2 years, Maya Washington was ready to be that someone. Not invisible. Not a ghost. Just Maya. And maybe that was enough. Maya walked out of the conference room and nearly collided with Tiffany Brooks. Tiffany jumped back, phone clutched to her chest.
Jesus, you scared me.
Sorry.
Are you okay? I heard what happened. Everyone's talking about it.
Tiffany's eyes were wide, searching Maya's face for something. Drama, probably. A story to share.
I'm fine. That's insane what you did. Taking down 3 guys with guns. Where did you even learn that?
Maya walked past her toward the nurse's station.
I need to check on my patients.
Wait! Tiffany followed.
Is it true, what they're saying? That you were like special forces or something?
Maya stopped, turned, looked at Tiffany for a long moment.
Yes.
Tiffany's mouth fell open.
Holy shit. I mean, I'm sorry, we all thought you were so, I don't know, quiet, boring even. God, that sounds terrible now. It's what I wanted you to think. Why?
Maya didn't answer. She continued down the hallway. Her shift had ended an hour ago, but she couldn't leave. Not yet. Not until she knew Elijah was stable, that Grace was okay, that the aftermath of the violence wouldn't ripple out and hurt anyone else. The 6th floor looked different now. Same walls, same floors, same fluorescent lights humming overhead. But everything had changed. Staff members stopped talking when she passed. They stared, whispered. Some looked at her with something like awe, others with fear. Maya hated it. Patricia Gomez met her at the nurse's station.
Maya, you should go home.
Get some rest.
I'm fine.
You just fought off 3 armed men. You're not fine.
My patients need rounds.
Patricia's expression softened. Your patients are stable. I've already checked on them. And Grace Carter specifically asked that you not feel obligated to stay. She said to tell you that you've done more than enough. Maya's chest tightened.
How is she?
Shaken, grateful. Her son's still unconscious, but all his vitals are good. She's not leaving his side.
I need to see her.
Maya, please. Patricia sighed. 5 minutes, then you go home. That's an order.
Maya nodded and walked toward room 614. The police had cleared the scene an hour ago. The blood had been cleaned up, the weapons taken as evidence. But Maya could still see exactly where Dante had stood, where Terrence had fallen, where the bullet had passed so close to her face, she'd felt its heat. She knocked softly on the door.
Come in,
Grace's voice called. Maya entered.
Grace sat in the same chair she'd occupied for 6 days straight. Her eyes were red from crying, but she smiled when she saw Maya.
You came back. I wanted to check on you, both of you. Elijah's stable. The doctor said the excitement didn't affect his recovery, thank God.
Grace stood up, walked over, and before Maya could step back, pulled her into a tight hug. Maya froze. She couldn't remember the last time someone had hugged her.
Thank you,
Grace whispered.
You saved my baby's life.
You saved mine. I don't know how to ever repay that. You don't need to repay anything. Grace pulled back, holding Maya's shoulders.
The police told me what you did, who you are. All those years in the military, all that service, and you're here taking care of people like us. That's beautiful.
I'm just doing my job.
No, you're doing God's work.
Grace's eyes filled with tears again.
Those men were going to kill my son, and you stopped them.
Not because you had to, because you chose to.
Maya didn't know what to say. The words felt too big, too heavy.
How's your hand?
She asked instead, noticing the bandage wrapped around Grace's wrist.
Oh, this? I heard it when I fell earlier. Nothing serious. The nurse said it's just a sprain.
Grace sat back down, took her son's hand.
The detective said they caught the third man, Jamal something, picked him up trying to leave the city. Good.
She also said Dante's asking to talk to you. Maya went very still.
What? He's at the hospital, under guard. They operated on his hand a few hours ago. Detective Martinez said he's been asking for you specifically, wants to apologize or something.
Grace's voice hardened.
You don't owe him anything. That man tried to kill my child. I know. But the detective said she'd arrange it if you wanted. Said it might give you closure or whatever. I think that's garbage. He doesn't deserve your time.
Maya looked at Elijah. The boy's chest rose and fell steadily.
Peaceful. Alive. Maybe he doesn't, Maya said. But maybe I need to hear what he has to say.
Grace studied her face.
You're too kind. That's a rare thing in this world. I'm not kind. I'm just tired of people dying.
Maya left the room and found Detective Martinez waiting in the hallway.
You heard, Martinez said. Grace told me. You don't have to do this.
Dante Rivers is going away for a long time. Attempted murder, assault with a deadly weapon, about 15 other charges. He's done.
Where is he?
Martinez looked at her for a long moment, then nodded. 3rd floor, room 312. 2 officers outside the door. I'll take you down. They rode the elevator in silence. Maya watched the numbers descend. 6, 5, 4, 3. The doors opened. Martinez led her down a corridor to a room where 2 uniformed officers stood guard.
They straightened when they saw the detective.
"She's cleared," Martinez said. "Give us 10 minutes." One officer opened the door. Dante Rivers lay in the hospital bed, his right hand heavily bandaged and elevated. His face was bruised where he'd hit the floor. An IV drip fed into his left arm. He looked smaller than he had a few hours ago, diminished. He turned his head when Maya entered. Something flickered in his eyes. Fear, maybe. Or shame. "You came," he said quietly. "You asked."
Martinez stepped back but stayed in the doorway, close enough to intervene if needed.
Dante tried to sit up, winced, settled back against the pillows. "They said you cut the tendon clean through. Said you knew exactly where to cut. Like you'd done it before." "I was a combat medic. I know human anatomy." "You could have killed me. Should have killed me. I had a gun on you." "I don't kill unless I have to." Dante laughed, a bitter sound. "That's funny. I came to that hospital to kill a kid, and you're telling me you don't kill unless you have to. What does that make me?" "Broken." The word hung in the air between them. Dante's eyes filled with tears. "My brother was 19. You know that? 19 years old. He wasn't supposed to be in that gang. He was trying to get out. Had a job lined up, military recruiter, the whole thing. But they called him for one last job, and he went because you can't just walk away. They don't let you walk away." "I know." "No, you don't. You don't know what it's like growing up where we did, where your choices are gang or nothing, where the only people who have money are the ones with guns. Marcus tried to be different, and it got him killed." "And killing Elijah Carter would have changed that? How?" Dante's jaw clenched. "It would have made someone else hurt like I hurt. It would have made you a killer. Made you exactly what you hated." "I already am a killer." Dante's voice broke. "I wanted to be." "Wanted to pull that trigger so bad. The only reason I'm not is because you stopped me." Maya moved closer to the bed. "Your brother didn't want out of the gang so you could avenge him. He wanted out so he could live. So he could be something more." "He's dead. He doesn't want anything anymore." "Then live for him. Be what he wanted to be." Dante turned his face away. His shoulders shook. "I'm going to prison. 20 years, they're saying. Maybe more. I threw my life away for nothing." "No, you threw it away for grief. That's different than nothing." He looked back at her. "Why are you being nice to me? I tried to kill a kid. I pointed a gun at you." "Because I know what it's like to lose everyone. To wake up and have to figure out how to keep breathing when the people you love are gone. And I know that anger feels better than grief. Anger gives you purpose. But it's a lie. It just makes the hole bigger." Dante was crying openly now. "I miss him so much. Every day, every minute." "I know." "How do you live with it? The loss?" Maya was quiet for a moment. "You don't live with it. You live around it. You find new reasons to get up, new people to protect. You make the loss mean something by making sure it doesn't happen to someone else." That kid testified against Marcus. Got him sent to Cook County where they killed him. That kid told the truth. Your brother made choices that put him in that position. Elijah didn't kill Marcus. The life killed Marcus, and now you're letting it kill you, too. Dante closed his eyes. "I'm sorry. I know it doesn't change anything, but I'm sorry. Tell that woman, that mother, tell her I'm sorry. Tell her yourself when you get out, however many years from now. You find her, and you tell her yourself. She'll never forgive me. Probably not. But you ask anyway. That's how you start making it right. Martinez stepped forward. Time's up. Maya nodded. She turned to leave. Wait, Dante called. What you said, about finding new reasons to get up. Did you find yours? Maya paused at the door. I'm working on it. She walked out. The hallway seemed brighter somehow, or maybe she was just seeing it differently. Martinez caught up with her at the elevator. That was either the bravest or stupidest thing I've ever seen. I haven't decided which. He needed to hear it. Maybe. Or maybe you needed to say it. Martinez pressed the elevator button. You going home now? Yes. Good, because the hospital administrator wants to see you at 9 a.m. And the media's been calling non-stop. Channel 7, NBC, everyone wants an interview with the hero nurse. Maya's stomach dropped. No. I told them you weren't interested, but they're persistent. One reporter's been camped outside the hospital since 6 a.m. I'm not talking to any reporters. I figured. But you should know, the story's out there. Someone leaked your military record. Not the classified stuff, but enough. By tomorrow morning, every news outlet in the country is going to know who you are. The elevator doors opened. Maya stepped inside. Can you stop them? From reporting the news? No. It's public record. You're a decorated war hero who stopped a mass shooting. That's news. I didn't stop a mass shooting. I stopped 3 men. 3 armed men who broke into a hospital to murder a witness. That's close enough. Martinez's expression softened. Look, I get it. You want to be left alone, but that's not possible anymore. What you did tonight? People need to hear about it. They need to know there are still people who run toward danger instead of away from it. I don't want to be famous. Too late. The elevator doors closed. Maya rode down to the parking garage alone. Her hands were shaking. She realized she hadn't eaten in 14 hours, hadn't slept in 18. Her body was running on adrenaline and muscle memory. The parking garage was nearly empty at 7 a.m. Her car sat in the far corner where she always parked, away from everyone else. She was halfway to her car when she heard footsteps behind her. Maya spun. A man stood 10 feet away, late 20s, white, wearing jeans and a jacket. He held up his hands. Whoa, sorry, didn't mean to scare you. Are you Maya Washington? Maya's muscles tensed. Who's asking? Brad Mitchell, Chicago Tribune. I just want to ask you a few questions about what happened tonight. No comment. Come on, just 5 minutes. People want to know who you are. What made you become a nurse after serving with the SEALs? I said no comment. Maya turned back toward her car. Is it true you're the only survivor of the Kandahar bombing? Mitchell called after her. That 7 members of your team died and you lived? Maya stopped walking. How does that feel? Mitchell pressed. Knowing they died and you didn't? Some people are calling you a hero, but others are asking why you survived when they didn't. Do you ever think about that? Maya turned slowly. Her face was completely blank, but her eyes were dangerous. Get away from me. I'm just asking the questions everyone's thinking. Don't you think the public deserves to know the public doesn't deserve anything from me? And if you ever mention my team again, I'll make you regret it. Mitchell's eyes widened. He stepped back. That sounds like a threat. It's a promise. Now leave. Maya got in her car and drove away. Her hands gripped the steering wheel so tight her knuckles went white. The reporter's words echoed in her head. Why you survived when they didn't. She'd asked herself that question every day for 2 years. Had never found an answer that made sense. By the time Maya reached her apartment, the sun was fully up. She lived in a small 1-bedroom in Pilsen, a neighborhood she'd chosen because nobody knew her and nobody cared. The building was quiet. Most of her neighbors worked days. She had the place to herself. Maya unlocked her door and stepped inside. The apartment was exactly as she'd left it 12 hours ago. Sparse furniture, no pictures on the walls, nothing that said a person actually lived here. She dropped her keys on the counter, kicked off her shoes, stood in the middle of the living room, and didn't know what to do with herself. Her phone buzzed. A text from Patricia. "News vans outside the hospital, reporters everywhere. They know where you work. Might want to take a few days off." Maya sat down on the couch, put her head in her hands. This was what she'd been afraid of. The exposure, the attention, the questions she couldn't answer. Her phone buzzed again. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer, but something made her pick up. "Hello? Sergeant Washington?" A man's voice. Formal, military cadence. "Who is this?" "Colonel Richard Brennan, Naval Special Warfare Command. I apologize for calling so early, but I wanted to reach you before the media circus gets worse." Maya sat up straighter. "How did you get this number?" "I still have connections. And your file's still active in our system even though you're retired." Brennan paused. "I heard what you did at Mercy General. That was good work. The kind of work that makes the Navy proud." "I'm not in the Navy anymore." "Once a SEAL, always a SEAL. Even if you were support. You know that." Maya's jaw tightened. She'd heard that phrase 1,000 times, usually from men who'd never accepted that women could work alongside the teams. "What do you want, Colonel?" "I want to help you. The media's going to tear you apart. They're going to ask about Kandahar, about why you survived, about your medical discharge. They're going to dig up everything and twist it into whatever story sells." "I know. But we can control the narrative. Give me permission, and I'll have our public affairs team handle the press. We'll put out a statement, arrange a single interview with a friendly outlet, and shut down the rest. Clean and professional." "Why would you do that?" "Because you're one of ours. Because what happened to you and your team was a tragedy, and you don't deserve to have it picked apart by civilians who don't understand. And because, frankly, the Navy looks good when people like you make headlines for the right reasons." Maya stood up, walked to the window. Outside, her quiet street was waking up, people heading to work, living normal lives. "I appreciate the offer, but I don't want any interviews, any statements, any of it." "Maya, listen to me. You don't get a choice anymore. The story's out there. Your options are to shape it or let someone else shape it for you. And trust me, you want control." "I want to be left alone." "That's not possible and you know it. So you can either work with me and maintain some dignity, or you can hide and let them make you into whatever they want. Your call." Maya closed her eyes. "I need to think about it." "You have until noon. After that, the morning news cycle hits, and it's out of my hands." Brennan's voice softened. "I know this isn't what you wanted, but you did something extraordinary last night. Let people see that. Let them understand what you're capable of. Maybe it'll help." "Help what?" "Help you forgive yourself." The line went dead. Maya stood at the window for a long time. The sun climbed higher. The city moved around her, indifferent, uncaring. Her phone buzzed again. Another text, this one from Grace Carter. "The news says you were a war hero." "I already knew that. Thank you for everything. You gave me my son back. Whatever you need, whenever you need it, you call me. I owe you everything." Then another text, from Harold Patterson in room 601. "Just saw you on the news. You're famous. But you'll always be just Maya to me." The nurse who made sure I didn't die. Thank you. Then another, from a number she didn't recognize. This is Dr. Chen. I was wrong about you. About everything. I'm sorry. The texts kept coming. Patients,
Former coworkers, people she'd helped and never thought had noticed her. Maya sat down on the couch again, read through them all. Maybe Colonel Brennan was right. Maybe she didn't get to hide anymore. But maybe that wasn't the worst thing. Her phone rang. Not a text, an actual call. She looked at the screen. Detective Martinez. Washington. Turn on Channel 7. Now. Maya grabbed the remote, turned on the TV, found Channel 7. Her own face filled the screen. A photo from her military file. Younger. Harder. Wearing desert fatigues and body armor. The news anchor's voice. Breaking news this morning. The identity of the hero nurse who stopped an armed assault at Mercy General Hospital has been confirmed as former Navy SEAL medic Maya Washington, a decorated combat veteran with 3 tours of duty and a Silver Star for valor. The screen cut to video from the hospital. Police cars, ambulances, reporters crowding the entrance. Washington, who has been working quietly as a cardiac care nurse for the past 2 years, single-handedly disarmed 3 armed men who broke into the hospital to murder a teenage witness. Sources say she used her military training to neutralize the threat without any loss of life. Maya's stomach turned. The anchor continued. We've also learned that Washington is the sole survivor of a devastating IED attack in Afghanistan that killed 7 members of her unit. She was medically discharged following the incident. This morning, we're asking, who is Maya Washington, and what made a warrior become a healer? The screen cut to an interview. The reporter standing outside Mercy General. We tried to reach Ms. Washington for comment, but she's declined all interviews. However, we spoke with several patients and staff members who paint a picture of a quiet, almost invisible presence on the night shift. Cut to Tiffany Brooks, looking directly into the camera. I worked with Maya for 2 years and had no idea who she really was. She never talked about herself, never socialized. We all thought she was just shy or weird. Now I realize she was carrying all this trauma, and we never knew. We never even asked. Maya turned off the TV. She sat in the silence of her apartment and felt the walls closing in. This was it. The moment she'd been dreading. The moment her 2 lives collided, and there was no separating them anymore. Staff Sergeant Maya Washington, the warrior who'd held a perimeter alone, who'd saved lives under fire, who'd watched her friends die. And Maya Washington, the nurse, the invisible woman, the ghost who changed IV bags and avoided eye contact. Both versions were true. Both versions were incomplete. Maybe it was time to figure out who she actually was. Maya's phone buzzed one more time. Colonel Brennan. Text message. Deadlines moved up. Morning shows picked up the story. You've got 30 minutes to decide. Call me. Maya looked at the phone, at the TV, at her empty apartment that had been her hiding place for 2 years. Then she picked up the phone and dialed. Brennan? It's Washington. I'll do it. 1 interview. But I choose the outlet and I approve all questions first. Done. I'll set it up. Thank you, Maya. This is the right call. Colonel, one more thing. What's that? I don't want to talk about Kandahar. I don't want to talk about my team. That's off limits. Silence on the other end. Maya, that's what they'll want to ask about. Then they can't have the interview. Those are my terms. Another pause. Then, I'll do what I can. No promises. That's all I'm asking. Maya hung up. She walked to her bedroom, looked at herself in the mirror. The quiet nurse was gone. The invisible woman had vanished. What remained was someone she'd been running from for 2 years. Someone she'd have to learn to be again. Maya Washington. Just Maya. And maybe that was enough. The NBC studio was colder than Maya expected, or maybe that was just her nerves. She sat in the makeup chair while a woman named Rachel dabbed powder on her face. The mirror in front of her showed someone Maya barely recognized. Hair down instead of pulled back. Subtle makeup instead of none. A blazer borrowed from the network's wardrobe department because her scrubs weren't camera appropriate. "You're doing great," Rachel said. "Just relax. Breathe." Maya's hands were steady, but her chest felt tight. She'd faced enemy fire with less anxiety than this. Colonel Brennan stood in the corner, phone pressed to his ear, coordinating something. He'd flown in from Virginia that morning, taken control of the situation like he was running a military operation, which, Maya supposed, he was. He hung up and walked over. "Interview starts in 10 minutes. Diane Sawyer's producer just sent over the final questions. I got them to drop the ones about Kandahar." "Thank you. But they're keeping the question about why you became a nurse, and why you hid your background. You ready for that?" Maya looked at herself in the mirror. "No." "Good. If you were ready, I'd be worried. Nervous means you care." Brennan's voice softened. "You don't have to do this. We can still pull the plug." "And then what? Hide for the rest of my life?" "Some people would choose that." "I did choose that. For 2 years. It didn't work." Rachel stepped back. "All done. You look beautiful." Beautiful wasn't the word Maya would have used. She looked exposed, vulnerable, like someone had stripped away all her defenses and left her standing in front of a camera with nowhere to hide. A production assistant appeared in the doorway. Young kid, maybe 22, with a headset and clipboard. "Washington, we're ready for you on set." Maya stood. Her legs felt unsteady. Brennan touched her arm. "Remember what we talked about. Answer honestly, but don't give them more than they ask for. Stay calm. Stay professional. You've got this." "I've faced down enemy combatants. Why does this feel harder?" "Because bullets are easier than questions. Bullets you can dodge. Questions get inside your head." Maya followed the production assistant through a maze of hallways. Cameras, lights, people rushing around with earpieces and urgent expressions. The controlled chaos of live television. They emerged into the studio. Diane Sawyer sat in one of 2 chairs arranged in an intimate setting. She looked up when Maya entered and smiled, warm, genuine, or at least well-practiced at appearing that way. "Maya, thank you for doing this." Sawyer stood and shook her hand. "I know this isn't easy. We'll take it slow, just a conversation. Forget the cameras. That's easier said than done." "True." Sawyer's smile turned sympathetic. "But I promise I'm not here to attack you. I'm here to let people see who you really are. The woman behind the headlines." Maya sat in the empty chair. Someone clipped a microphone to her blazer, adjusted the lights, checked the angles. 2 minutes, someone called out. Sawyer settled into her chair, reviewed her notes, looked up at Maya. "Last chance to back out. No judgment if you do." "I'm good." 30 seconds. Maya's heart hammered. She forced herself to breathe. In through the nose, out through the mouth, the way she'd been trained.
10 seconds, and we're live in 5, 4, 3. The camera's red light blinked on. Sawyer turned to face it. "Good evening. Tonight we bring you an exclusive interview with Maya Washington, the former Navy SEAL medic who stopped an armed assault at a Chicago hospital 3 days ago." Maya has never spoken publicly about her military service or the tragedy that ended her career. Until now. Sawyer turned to Maya. "Thank you for being here."
"Thank you for having me."
"Let's start with what happened Tuesday night. You were working your usual shift when 3 armed men entered the hospital. Walk me through what you were thinking in those moments. Maya chose her words carefully. I was thinking about my patients, about keeping them safe. When I saw the first man, I knew something was wrong. His behavior didn't match his cover story, so I engaged. You engaged? That's an interesting word choice. Most nurses would have called security. Security was 2 floors away. The threat was immediate. There wasn't time. You were trained for this. In Afghanistan, in Iraq, in Syria. 3 combat tours, a Silver Star for valor, 2 Purple Hearts. You're one of the most decorated female combat veterans of your generation. Maya said nothing, waited for the question. And yet for the past 2 years, you've been working as a cardiac care nurse on the night shift, making minimum wage, living alone, telling no one about your past. Why? Because I wanted a different life. I wanted to heal instead of hurt. I wanted normal. But you weren't normal, were you? Staff members describe you as distant, antisocial. Some used the word creepy. Were you hiding from something? Maya's jaw tightened. I was hiding from myself. What does that mean? It means I lost my entire team in Afghanistan. 7 people I considered family. And I survived. And I didn't know how to live with that. So I became someone else, someone who didn't have to remember, someone who didn't have to feel. Sawyer leaned forward. Tell me about your team. No. The word came out harder than Maya intended. Sawyer blinked. No? That's off limits. I agreed to talk about the hospital, about my service in general terms, but I won't talk about the people I lost. They deserve better than to be entertainment. Silence. The camera kept rolling. Sawyer recovered smoothly. I respect that. Let's talk about Tuesday night instead. You disabled 3 armed men, severed a tendon with surgical precision, used a scalpel as a weapon. Where did you learn to do that? I was a combat medic attached to SEAL teams. I learned anatomy to save lives. But anatomy works both ways. If you know how to fix someone, you know how to break them. That's a chilling thought. It's a necessary one. In combat, you can't hesitate. You assess, you act. You deal with the consequences later. And the consequences? You sent a young man to prison. Dante Rivers. He'll likely serve 20 years. How do you feel about that? Maya met Sawyer's eyes. I feel sad. Dante lost his brother to violence, and instead of breaking the cycle, he tried to continue it. Now he's lost his freedom, too. That's not justice. That's tragedy. You visited him in the hospital. Why? Because he needed to hear that revenge wouldn't bring his brother back. That the only way to honor the people we lose is to become better than the people who took them from us. Did he listen? I don't know. I hope so. Sawyer glanced at her notes. You mentioned losing people, your team in Afghanistan, but you've also lost patients, haven't you? As a nurse. How do you handle that? You don't handle it. You carry it. Every patient who dies on your watch, you carry them. You remember their names, their faces, what they said before they went. And you use that weight to make sure you fight harder for the next one. That sounds exhausting. It is. Then why do it? Why choose a profession where loss is inevitable? Maya was quiet for a moment. Because sometimes you save someone, and that makes all the rest worth it. Sawyer nodded. The night of the assault, you saved Grace Carter and her son Elijah. Grace told our producers that you gave her son back to her, that you're a miracle. How does that feel? It feels like I was in the right place at the right time. But you were more than that. You were trained, prepared, capable. Most people would have frozen. You acted. That's not luck. That's who you are. Maya felt something crack inside her chest. Who I am is complicated.
Aren't we all? Sawyer's expression softened. One last question. What do you want people to know about you? About veterans like you who come home and try to build new lives? Maya took a breath. I want people to know that we're not broken. We're not damaged. We're just carrying things most people never have to carry. And we're doing our best to keep moving forward. Some days we succeed. Some days we don't. But we're trying. That's all any of us can do. Try. Maya Washington, thank you for your service. And thank you for your time.
Thank you.
The red light blinked off. Sawyer leaned back. That was perfect. Honest. Raw. Exactly what people need to hear. Maya unclipped her microphone. When does it air? Tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. But clips will be online within the hour. You're going to trend, just warning you. Maya stood. Her legs were shaking now. The adrenaline crash hitting hard and fast. Brennan appeared at her elbow. You did good. Really good. Now let's get you out of here before the press finds out you're in the building. They made it to the parking garage before Maya's phone started buzzing. Texts, calls, social media notifications she didn't even know she had. Brennan drove. Maya stared out the window. You okay? He asked.
Ask me in a week.
Fair enough. Brennan merged into traffic. For what it's worth, you handled that better than most trained public affairs officers. You were honest without being weak, strong without being cold. People are going to respond to that. I don't want people to respond. I want to go back to work and have everyone forget this happened. That's not possible, and you know it. Your life changed Tuesday night. Accept it. Adapt. Move forward. Maya closed her eyes. I'm tired of moving forward. I've been moving forward for 2 years and it hasn't helped. Maybe you've been moving in the wrong direction. She opened her eyes, looked at him. What's that supposed to mean? It means maybe you're not supposed to hide. Maybe you're supposed to use what happened to you to help other people who are going through the same thing. Brennan glanced at her. How many veterans you think are out there right now, working jobs they hate, hiding who they are, afraid to ask for help? Thousands. Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands maybe. And they just saw one of their own stand up and say, I'm struggling, but I'm trying. You gave them permission to be human. That matters. I don't want to be a symbol. Too late. They drove in silence for a while. Chicago traffic crawled around them. Maya watched people in other cars, living their lives, unaware that the woman in the car next to them had killed people, had saved people, had lost everything, and was trying to figure out how to build something from the wreckage. Brennan dropped her at her apartment building. I'm flying back to Virginia tonight, but I'll check in. You've got my number. Use it if you need anything.
Thank you for everything.
Don't thank me yet. The hard part's just starting. Maya got out of the car and watched him drive away. She climbed the stairs to her apartment, unlocked the door, stepped inside, and found someone sitting on her couch. Maya's hand went for a weapon she wasn't carrying. The woman on the couch raised her hands. Easy. Hospital sent me. I'm Dr. Lisa Chen, therapist. Your administrator thought you might need someone to talk to. Maya's heart was racing.
You broke into my apartment.
Your landlord let me in. I showed him my hospital ID, explained the situation. He was very understanding.
Get out.
Maya, please, just give me 5 minutes.
I said get out.
Dr. Chen stood slowly. She was maybe 45, Asian, wearing casual clothes and a concerned expression. I know you're scared.
I know you don't want help, but you just went through a traumatic experience and then immediately did a national television interview. Your stress levels have to be through the roof.
I'm fine.
No, you're not. You're in fight or flight mode. Your hands are shaking, your breathing's elevated. You're looking for exits. Chen's voice was gentle. I'm not here to judge you or fix you. I'm just here to listen if you need someone to listen. Maya's hands were shaking. She hadn't even noticed.
I don't need a therapist.
When's the last time you slept? Really slept, more than a few hours? Maya didn't answer. When's the last time you ate a full meal? Silence. When's the last time you felt safe? Maya's throat tightened.
I don't remember.
Chen nodded. Then maybe you need someone to help you remember what safe feels like. Just 5 minutes. Then I'll leave. I promise. Maya wanted to say no. Wanted to throw this woman out and lock the door and go back to being alone. But she was so tired of carrying everything by herself. 5 minutes, Maya said. Chen sat back down. Thank you. Let's start simple. How are you feeling right now? Angry? Scared? Tired? Angry at what? Everything. The reporters, the attention, the fact that I can't just be left alone. And scared of what? Maya sat down in the chair across from her. Scared that people will expect things from me I can't deliver. Scared that I'll let them down. Scared that I'm not actually the person everyone thinks I am. Who do you think you are? I don't know anymore. I used to know. When I was in the Navy, I knew exactly who I was, what I was good at, what I was supposed to do. Then everything fell apart and I had to become someone new, and I thought I'd figured it out. Quiet nurse, invisible, safe. But that person's gone now too. Chen leaned forward. Maybe that person was never real. Maybe it was just armor, protection. And now that the armor's gone, you have to figure out who you actually are underneath. What if there's nothing underneath? What if I'm just empty? You're not empty, Maya. Empty people don't save lives. Empty people don't visit the men who tried to kill them to offer forgiveness. Empty people don't agree to interviews to help other veterans, even though it terrifies them. Tears burned in Maya's eyes. She blinked them back. I watched my friends die. All of them. And I couldn't save them. What kind of medic can't save her own team? The kind who's human. The kind who did everything possible and still couldn't change the outcome. That's not failure. That's tragedy. There's a difference. It doesn't feel different. I know, but feelings aren't facts. The fact is you did your job. You fought. You survived. And now you're here trying to figure out what comes next. That takes courage. Maya wiped her eyes. I don't feel courageous. I feel broken. You can be both. Courage isn't the absence of breaking. It's continuing despite being broken. They sat in silence for a moment. Your 5 minutes are up, Maya said quietly. Chen stood. They are. But my office is open if you ever want to talk more. No pressure, no judgment. Just someone who listens. She walked to the door, paused. One more thing. The hospital administrator wants you to take 2 weeks off. Paid leave. To process everything. I think that's a good idea. I don't want time off. I want to work. I know, but you need rest. Real rest. Not just hiding. Actually dealing with what happened. Chen handed her a card. My number. Use it. She left. Maya sat alone in her apartment. Her phone buzzed. She looked at the screen. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer.
Hello?
Maya Washington? A woman's voice, unfamiliar.
Who is this?
My name is Jennifer Barnes. I'm a veteran too. Army, 2 tours in Iraq.
I just watched your interview and I needed to call and say thank you. Maya's chest tightened.
Thank you for what?
For saying it's okay to struggle. For admitting you don't have all the answers. I've been out for 5 years, and I've been pretending I'm fine the whole time, acting like the transition was easy, like I don't wake up in the middle of the night with panic attacks. Your interview made me realize I'm not alone, that there are other people out there who understand.
I'm glad it helped.
It did. More than you know. Jennifer's voice cracked. I've been thinking about ending it, about just giving up. But hearing you talk about carrying the weight and trying anyway, it gave me something to hold on to. So thank you. For being honest. For being real. Maya's throat closed up. Are you safe right now? Do you have people you can call? I do. I'm calling the VA crisis line after this, getting help. Because you showed me it's okay to ask.
It's more than okay. It's brave. So are you. Don't forget that.
The line went dead. Maya sat holding the phone. Her apartment felt different somehow. Less like a hiding place. More like a starting point. Her phone buzzed again. Text from Grace Carter. Just watched your interview. You're amazing. Elijah woke up today. First thing he asked was if you were okay. Can we visit you? Maya typed back. I'm okay. Tell Elijah I'm proud of him. Visit anytime. Another buzz.
Detective Martinez.
Saw the interview. You did good. Also, FYI, Dante wants to write you a letter. I can pass it along if you're okay with that. Yes, I'll read it. Another buzz. Tiffany Brooks. I'm sorry for how I treated you, for all the mean things I said. You deserved better. I hope you can forgive me. Maya stared at that one for a long time. Finally typed, already forgiven. See you when I get back. The texts kept coming. Patients, co-workers, strangers who'd seen the interview and wanted to share their stories. Maya read them all. And somewhere in the middle of reading about other people's pain and hope and struggle, she realized something. She wasn't alone. She'd spent 2 years thinking she had to carry everything by herself, had to be strong enough to handle the grief and the guilt and the loss without burdening anyone else. But maybe that was the problem. Maybe strength wasn't about carrying everything alone.
Maybe it was about letting other people help carry it with you.
Maya stood up, walked to her closet, pulled out the box she'd hidden on the top shelf 2 years ago. Inside were her medals, her dress uniform, photos of her team. She pulled out one photo. 7 faces smiling at the camera. Dusty, exhausted, alive. Her family. Maya touched each face, said each name out loud. Jackson, Martinez, Williams, Chen, O'Brien, Ramirez, Thompson. Her voice broke on the last one.
I'm sorry I couldn't save you.
I'm sorry you're gone. I'm sorry for everything. She wiped her eyes. But I'm going to keep going. I'm going to use what you taught me to help people, to make sure your deaths meant something. I promise. She placed the photo on her dresser where she could see it, not hidden anymore, not forgotten, just there. Part of her life, part of who she was. Maya's phone rang. Colonel Brennan. Turn on the news, any channel. Maya grabbed the remote, turned on CNN. Her face filled the screen. Clips from the interview. The anchor's voice. The Maya Washington interview has broken records with over 10 million views in the first hour. Social media is flooded with messages of support. Hashtag Thank You Maya is trending worldwide. Cut to people on the street being interviewed. She's a hero. What she did took incredible courage. I'm a veteran too, and seeing her speak up made me feel less alone. We need more people like her in the world.
Back to the anchor. The response has been so overwhelming that the White House has announced President will call Maya Washington personally to thank her for her service. Maya turned off the TV.
This is insane, she said into the phone. This is impact, Brennan replied. This is what happens when you tell the truth. People respond. I don't want to talk to the president. Too bad. It's happening tomorrow at noon. I'll send you the details. Colonel, Maya, listen to me. You don't get to decide whether you're important. You just have to decide what you do with it. Use this platform, help people, make the loss mean something. He hung up. Maya sat in the silence. Tomorrow she'd talk to the president. Next week she'd go back to work. Eventually the media attention would fade. But something had changed. She'd stopped running. And maybe that was the first step toward actually healing. Maya looked at the photo on her dresser.
Wish you were here to see this,
she whispered. And for the first time in 2 years, she smiled. Because they were here, in her memories, in the lessons they'd taught her, in the person she was becoming. They'd always be here, and that was enough. Maya spent the next 3 weeks preparing for the VA conference. Every morning she sat at her kitchen table with a blank notepad, trying to write a speech that didn't sound like a lie. The words wouldn't come. She'd start with something generic about service and sacrifice, then delete it. Try a personal anecdote about her team. Then her throat would close up and she'd have to stop. Attempt to explain what PTSD felt like and realize she didn't have the language for it. By week 2, she had 4 pages of crossed-out sentences and a growing certainty that she'd made a terrible mistake. Dr. Chen called every other day to check in. How's the writing going? It's not. Why not? Because everything I write sounds fake, like I'm pretending to have answers I don't have. Then write that. Write about not having answers. Veterans don't need you to be perfect. They need you to be real. Maya stared at the blank page. What if real isn't enough? It's always enough. The question is whether you're brave enough to show it. That night, Maya stopped trying to write a speech and started writing a letter. To her team, to Martinez and Jackson and Williams and all the others. Words she'd never said out loud. Apologies and memories and everything she'd buried for 2 years. She wrote for 4 hours straight. When she finished, she had 12 pages of raw, messy truth. It wasn't a speech, but it was honest. And maybe that was enough. On her last day of leave, Maya went back to Mercy General. Not to work, just to walk the halls. To see if the place still felt like home, or if everything had changed too much. Patricia was at the nurse's station when Maya arrived. She looked up and smiled. You're early. Shift doesn't start until tomorrow. I know. Just wanted to see the place. It's been quiet without you. Boring, actually. Tiffany's been asking about you every day. I think she feels guilty. She shouldn't. I forgave her. I know, but guilt doesn't work like that. Patricia pulled up a chair. How are you really doing? Not the TV interview version. The real version. Maya sat down. I'm terrified. The conference is in 4 days, and I still don't know what I'm going to say. Say what you told Diane Sawyer. That was powerful. That was scripted, controlled. This is different. This is standing in front of hundreds of veterans and admitting I'm just as broken as they are. You think they don't already know that? Maya, the people in that room have all been where you are. They're not looking for a hero. They're looking for someone who understands.
What if I freeze up there? What if I start crying and can't stop?
Then you cry, and they'll understand that too. Maya's phone buzzed, text from a number she didn't recognize. This is Sergeant James Cooper, Army. Saw you're speaking at the VA conference. I'm attending. Just wanted to say thank you in advance. Your interview saved my life. Literally. I was planning to end it the night I watched it. Your words stopped me. I'm getting help now. I'm going to make it because you showed me it was possible. Maya's hands shook as she showed Patricia the message. This is the fourth one like this I've gotten this week. People telling me I saved them. But I didn't do anything. I just talked about being messed up. You gave them permission to be messed up too. You showed them they're not alone. That's everything. Maya texted back. Thank you for staying. Thank you for fighting. You're braver than you know. See you at the conference. Patricia squeezed her shoulder. You're already making a difference. The speech is just making it official. Maya walked through the 6th floor, past room 614, where Elijah had been, past the supply closet where she'd fought 3 armed men, past the nurse's station where she'd spent 2 years being invisible. Everything looked the same. But she felt different. Her phone rang. Detective Martinez. I've got news. Thought you'd want to hear it directly from me. What is it? Dante Rivers pled guilty this morning. Took a deal. 15 years instead of 25. He asked his lawyer to pass along a message to you. Maya's chest tightened. What message? He said thank you. Said the conversation you had with him in the hospital changed something. Made him want to be better. He's enrolling in college classes in prison, getting his degree. Said when he gets out, he wants to work with at-risk youth, keep them from making his mistakes. That's good. That's really good. His lawyer also said Dante wrote you a letter. I can bring it by if you want. Yes, please. Martinez showed up at Maya's apartment an hour later with a sealed envelope. He wrote this 3 weeks ago but wanted to wait until after the plea deal to send it. Said he didn't want you to think he was trying to manipulate anything. Maya took the envelope. How did he seem? At the hearing. Different. Calmer. Like he'd made peace with something. His mother was there. They talked for a long time before he was taken back. First time they'd spoken in months, apparently. What happened between them? She blamed him for Marcus's death. Said if Dante hadn't introduced his little brother to the gang, Marcus would still be alive. Dante blamed her for not protecting them better. Lots of pain on both sides. Martinez paused. But today, they hugged, cried together, started healing. After Martinez left, Maya opened the letter. Dear Maya, I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't forgive myself. But I wanted you to know that what you said in the hospital stayed with me. About honoring the people we lose by becoming better. I thought about that every day in here. Thought about Marcus and what he wanted for his life. He wanted out, wanted education, wanted to help people. So I'm doing that for him. Getting my degree, learning, changing. It won't bring him back, but maybe it'll make his death mean something. You asked me to tell Grace Carter I was sorry. I wrote her a letter too. Don't know if she'll read it. Don't blame her if she doesn't. But I had to try, just like you said. Thank you for not killing me. Thank you for seeing past what I did to who I could become. I'll spend the rest of my life trying to be worth that second chance. Dante. Maya folded the letter carefully, put it with the others from her team's families. Evidence that broken people could heal. that second chances mattered. That hope wasn't just a word. The day before the VA conference, Maya's old team called. She'd been avoiding them for weeks, making excuses, saying she was busy. But they were persistent. The video call connected. 8 faces filled her screen. People she'd served with on different deployments. People who knew what she'd been through, because they'd been through it too. "There she is," Lieutenant Marcus Wells said. He'd been her team leader in Iraq. "The woman who's too famous for us now."
"I'm not famous. I'm notorious. There's a difference." "Whatever you are, you're dodging us. Stop it." Sarah Kim, a medic Maya had trained, leaned into the camera.
"We saw your interview. We're proud of you. But we're also worried. You carrying all that alone for 2 years. That's not okay."
"I'm fine." "You're not fine," Tom Rodriguez said. He'd lost his left leg to an IED in Syria. "None of us are fine. But we're together, and you've been shutting us out." Maya's throat tightened.
"I didn't know what to say to you. You all knew my team. You knew what happened. I thought you'd blame me."
"Blame you?" Wells looked genuinely confused. "For what? Surviving?" "Maya, we all drew straws with death over there. You got the long straw. That's not your fault."
"It feels like my fault."
"Yeah, well, feelings lie. Facts are facts. And the fact is, an IED killed 7 good people and you lived. You don't get to feel guilty about that. You get to honor them by living well."
Kim nodded. "That's why we called. We heard you're speaking at the conference tomorrow. We're all attending, front row, supporting you."
"You're all coming?"
"Damn right we are. Your family. Family shows up." Rodriguez grinned. "Plus, we want to see if you cry on stage. I've got $50 says you make it through without tears." "I've got 50 that says she breaks down in the first 5 minutes," Kim countered. "You're betting on whether I cry?" "It's how we cope. Don't judge." Maya laughed. Actually laughed. For the first time in weeks, the weight on her chest lifted slightly. "Thank you. For this. For showing up. For not giving up on me."
"Never," Wells said. "Now get some sleep. Big day tomorrow."
The call ended. Maya sat in the quiet of her apartment. Thought about the people who'd surrounded her without her even realizing it. Grace and Elijah, Dr. Chen, Detective Martinez, Patricia, her old team, Admiral Patterson, Colonel Brennan. She'd spent 2 years thinking she was alone, but she'd never been alone. She'd just been too scared to look up and see the hands reaching out to help. The next morning, Maya put on the only suit she owned. Navy blue, conservative, professional. She looked at herself in the mirror and barely recognized the woman staring back. Not the invisible nurse, not the warrior in desert fatigues. Someone in between. Someone new. Her phone buzzed. Text from Elijah. "Good luck today. You're going to kill it. P.S. My mom says to tell you we're praying for you." Then Patricia. "The whole 6th floor is watching the live stream. We believe in you." Then Tiffany. "I'm sorry I was such a bitch to you. You deserved better. Knock 'em dead today." Then Grace. "You gave me my son back. Now go give hope to people who need it. You've got this." The messages kept coming. Patients, co-workers, strangers who'd seen the interview. Maya read them all, let them fill the hollow spaces inside her chest. Then she drove to the convention center. The parking lot was packed. Thousands of veterans and their families streaming toward the entrance. Maya had to park 3 blocks away. She walked through the crowd, heard fragments of conversations. "Did you see Maya Washington speaking? I can't wait." "My daughter served with SEALs. She's excited to hear from someone who gets it." "I hope she talks about PTSD. I need to know I'm not crazy." Maya's hands started shaking. This was real. This was happening. She found the speaker entrance. Colonel Brennan was waiting inside. There you are, cutting it close. You're on in 20 minutes.
I know, I'm sorry, I couldn't find parking.
It's fine. How are you feeling?
Like I'm going to throw up?
Normal. Come on, let's get you backstage. Brennan led her through a maze of corridors. They passed other speakers, officials, military brass. Everyone looked polished and prepared.
Maya felt like an imposter. They reached the green room. Brennan handed her a bottle of water.
Drink, breathe. You've faced enemy fire. You can handle a microphone.
Enemy fire was easier. At least I knew what I was doing.
You know what you're doing here, too. You're telling the truth. That's all anyone wants. Admiral Patterson appeared in the doorway. Maya, good to see you. How's the speech coming?
It's done, I think. Maybe, I don't know.
Patterson smiled. First time I spoke at a military function, I threw up backstage. Twice. You're doing better than me already.
That's not reassuring.
It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to remind you that everyone's terrified their first time. But you do it anyway. That's courage. A production assistant appeared.
Ms. Washington, you're up in 5. Follow me.
Maya's heart hammered. She followed the assistant to the stage wings. Through the curtain she could see the auditorium. Thousands of seats, all filled. Veterans of every age, every branch, every war. All looking toward the stage where she was about to stand. Ladies and gentlemen, the announcer's voice boomed. Please welcome former Navy SEAL medic and Silver Star recipient, Staff Sergeant Maya Washington. Applause thundered. Maya stepped onto the stage. The lights were blinding, the crowd a blur. She couldn't see individual faces, couldn't see her friends in the front row, couldn't see anything except the microphone and the podium and the 1,000 ways this could go wrong. She walked to the podium, pulled out her notes. Her hands shook so badly the pages rattled. The applause died down. Silence fell. Maya looked out at the crowd, cleared her throat.
2 years ago, I walked away from the Navy because I thought I was done fighting. I thought if I could just disappear, just become invisible, the pain would stop. The nightmares would stop. The guilt would stop.
Her voice was steady, stronger than she expected.
It didn't work. The pain followed me. The nightmares got worse. And the guilt grew until I could barely breathe under the weight of it.
She paused, took a breath.
I'm here today because I'm done running. I'm done pretending I have it all together. I'm done acting like surviving my team's death was something to celebrate instead of something to grieve.
Movement in the front row. Her old team. Wells gave her a thumbs up. I lost 7 people I loved in Afghanistan. 7 friends who trusted me to keep them alive. And when the IED went off, I couldn't save them. I was unconscious. By the time I came to, they were gone. And for 2 years, I told myself that was my fault, that if I'd been faster, smarter, better, they'd still be here. Her throat tightened. But a few weeks ago, someone told me that survivor's guilt is just love with nowhere to go. And I realized they were right. I love my team. I'll always love them. And that love doesn't die just because they did. It just changes. It becomes a responsibility. To honor them. To keep their memory alive. To make my survival mean something. Tears burned in her eyes, but she kept going. So I became a nurse. I went to work every night and I saved lives. 1 patient at a time, 1 IV bag at a time, 1 crisis at a time. And I thought that was enough. I thought if I just kept my head down and did my job, that would be how I honored them. She looked directly at the crowd now. Could see faces. Could see tears on some of them. But it wasn't enough. Because I was still hiding. Still pretending I was okay when I wasn't.
still carrying everything alone because I thought asking for help was weak.
Her voice cracked.
And then 3 men broke into my hospital to kill a patient. And I stopped them. And the whole world saw who I really was. A veteran who was struggling. A woman who was broken.
Someone who'd survived trauma and was barely holding it together. She wiped her eyes.
The media called me a hero. The president called me brave. But I didn't feel like either of those things. I felt exposed, vulnerable, scared that everyone would see how messed up I really was.
The auditorium was silent. You could hear breathing.
But something strange happened. People reached out. Other veterans who were struggling too. People who thanked me for being honest.
For admitting I didn't have all the answers. For showing them it was okay to not be okay.
Maya's hands steadied.
And I realized that's what we need. Not heroes who pretend they're invincible, but humans who admit they're struggling and keep fighting anyway. That's real courage. Not the absence of fear or pain, but continuing despite it.
She looked at her notes. Didn't need them anymore.
I don't know if I'll ever fully heal from what happened in Afghanistan.
I don't know if the nightmares will ever stop.
I don't know if I'll ever feel like I deserve to be alive when my team isn't.
Her voice strengthened.
But I know I'm not alone. I know there are thousands of veterans in this room and millions across the country who carry the same weight. Who wake up every day and wonder if they matter. If their service meant something. If anyone cares that they're hurting. She paused. And I'm here to tell you that you matter. Your service meant everything.
And people care. I care. We all care. You're not alone in this fight.
Tears streamed down her face now, but she didn't wipe them away. So if you're struggling, ask for help. If you're hurting, tell someone. If you're thinking about giving up, please don't. Because the world needs you. Your family needs you. Your fellow veterans need you. And I need you. To keep fighting. To keep trying. To keep proving that there's life after service. That there's hope after loss.
That we can heal together, even when we can't heal alone.
Her voice broke completely.
My team died believing in something bigger than themselves. They died protecting people they'd never met, making sacrifices most people will never understand. And the best way I can honor them is to keep living, keep fighting, keep showing up, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. She gripped the podium. So that's what I'm asking you to do. Show up. For yourselves. For your families.
For each other. For all the people who didn't make it home.
Who gave everything so we could have the chance to build something meaningful from the wreckage. Maya looked out at the crowd, saw people crying, saw people nodding, saw recognition in their eyes.
We're broken, all of us. But broken doesn't mean useless. Broken just means we need help putting the pieces back together. And that's okay. That's human. That's beautiful in its own way.
She took a shaky breath.
Thank you for your service. Thank you for your sacrifice.
Thank you for being here today. And thank you for not giving up. The world is better because you're in it. Even on the days you don't believe it. Maya stepped back from the podium. For a moment, silence. Then applause. Deafening. Thunderous. The entire auditorium stood. Maya stood there, tears streaming down her face, and let herself feel it. The connection. The understanding. The shared pain and hope and determination. She'd told the truth. The messy,
Broken, beautiful truth. And it had been enough. People rushed the stage, veterans wanting to shake her hand, to hug her, to thank her for speaking their pain out loud. Colonel Brennan appeared at her side, creating space. "You need a minute?" "I need several." He ushered her backstage, but the veterans followed. A line formed, people waiting to talk to her, to share their stories, to tell her she'd changed something in them. Maya talked to each one, listened to their pain, shared her own, connected in ways she'd never connected before. 3 hours later, her voice was hoarse and her feet ached, but her heart felt lighter than it had in years. Her old team found her in the green room. Wells pulled her into a hug. "You killed it. Absolutely destroyed us all. I cried like a baby." "You owe me $50, Kim told Rodriguez. "Worth it," he said. Sarah Kim wiped her eyes. "That speech. Maya, you just changed thousands of lives." "You know that, right?" "I just told the truth." "Exactly. And the truth set people free." Maya's phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Messages from people who'd watched the live stream. From Grace and Elijah. From Patricia and the hospital staff. From patients she'd cared for. From strangers who'd needed to hear what she said. Admiral Patterson approached. "That was the most powerful speech I've heard in 30 years of service. Raw. Honest. Real. You should be proud." "I'm exhausted." "That's what real courage costs." "But Maya, look around. Look at what you did today." Maya looked, saw veterans talking to each other, saw people who'd been isolated finding community, saw hope replacing despair. "This is just the beginning," Patterson continued. "You started something here. A movement. Other veterans are going to speak up now, ask for help, support each other, because you showed them it was possible." "I don't know if I can do this again." "You don't have to decide that now. Just let yourself feel this moment. You earned it." That night, Maya returned to her apartment, physically and emotionally drained. But when she lay down in bed and closed her eyes, the nightmares didn't come. For the first time in 2 years, she slept through the night. And when she woke up the next morning, the sun streaming through her window felt like a promise. That healing was possible. That hope was real. That the weight she'd been carrying could be shared. Maya looked at the photo of her team on her dresser. "I did it," she whispered. "I told your story. I honored you. I hope that's enough." In her heart, she felt something shift. Not forgiveness, not yet, but acceptance, understanding, peace. Her team was gone. That would never change. But she was still here. And maybe that meant something. Maybe that meant everything. Maya returned to work on a Monday morning, 6 weeks after the night that changed everything. The hospital looked the same. Same entrance, same elevator, same fluorescent lights humming overhead. But when she walked onto the 6th floor, everything felt different. The staff was waiting. Patricia started the applause. Then Tiffany joined in. Then Dr. Chen. Then doctors and nurses Maya barely knew. The entire floor erupted in welcome. Maya froze. Her instinct was to run, to disappear, to become invisible again. But she didn't. She stood there and let them see her, let them celebrate her, let herself be part of something instead of apart from it. "Welcome back," Patricia said, pulling her into a hug. "We missed you." "I missed this too." Tiffany approached, eyes red. "I'm so sorry for everything I said before, for being cruel, for not seeing who you really were." Maya touched her arm. "I forgive you. I already told you that." "I know,
but I needed to say it again.
In person, where it counts. Tiffany wiped her eyes.
I watched your speech at the VA conference 5 times. It changed something in me. Made me realize how much pain people carry that we never see.
Everyone's fighting battles we don't know about.
Yeah, and I want to be the kind of person who helps instead of hurts. So thank you for showing me what that looks like.
Dr. Chen appeared at the nurse's station. He looked different, softer somehow, less arrogant. Washington.
Good to have you back. Your patients have been asking about you.
Which ones?
All of them. We've had a waiting list for your shifts, people specifically requesting you.
He paused. I was wrong about you. About everything. You're not just a good nurse. You're an extraordinary one. And I should have seen that from the beginning. Maya didn't know what to say. 2 months ago, this man had called her a wet mop. Now he was apologizing.
Thank you, doctor.
Call me James.
I think we're past formalities. The night shift started. Maya fell into her routine, checking vitals, changing IV bags, making rounds. The familiar rhythm calmed something inside her, but it wasn't the same as before. Patients looked at her differently now, smiled when she entered their rooms, asked about her life, treated her like a person instead of a ghost. Room 601 had a new patient. Michael Torres, 43, recovering from emergency bypass surgery. He was awake when Maya entered.
You're her, the nurse from the news.
I'm Maya, and you're Mr. Torres.
Call me Mike, everyone does. He shifted in the bed, wincing. My daughter showed me your speech. She's Army, served in Iraq, came back with PTSD. Won't talk about it. But after she watched your speech, she called me. First real conversation we've had in 3 years. So thank you for giving me my daughter back.
Maya's chest tightened. I'm glad it helped.
She's getting help now, real help, therapy, support group. All because you gave her permission to admit she was struggling. Mike's eyes filled. She's my only kid. I thought I'd lost her to the war, even though she came home. But you showed her she could heal. That's everything to a father. Maya checked his vitals to give herself something to do with her hands.
How's your pain?
Manageable, but I'm more worried about my daughter than myself.
She's getting help. That's the hardest step. Everything else gets easier from there.
That's what you said in your speech, that asking for help was the bravest thing you ever did.
It was. Still is every day.
Maya finished her rounds and returned to the nurse's station. Patricia was updating charts.
You handled that well. The attention. Some people would let it go to their heads. I'm not some people. I'm just trying to do my job. You're doing more than that. You're giving people hope. That matters.
Maya's phone buzzed. Text from Grace Carter.
Elijah starts college next week. Full scholarship. Criminal justice. He wants to be a detective. Help kids like him. We're having a small celebration Sunday. Please come. We want to thank you properly.
Maya typed back.
I'll be there. Congratulations to Elijah.
Another buzz. Unknown number. This is Marcus Thompson, security guard. Remember me? I wanted you to know I enrolled in the police academy at 62. Figured if you can change your life, so can I. Thanks for the inspiration.
Then another, from someone named David Chen.
My brother was Dr. James Chen at your hospital. He talks about you constantly. Says you taught him what real strength looks like. Thank you for that. Our family needed him to learn humility. The messages kept coming, every night. People Maya had touched without realizing it, lives she'd changed without trying. It was overwhelming, beautiful, terrifying. Around 3 a.m., during the quiet hours, Maya took her break in the staff lounge. Dr. Lisa Chen, the therapist, was there making coffee. "How's your first night back?" "Weird. Everyone's treating me different." "You are different. You stopped hiding." Maya poured herself coffee. "I don't know if I like being visible. It's exhausting." "Being invisible was exhausting too. You just got used to that kind of tired." Chen sat down. "How are you sleeping?" "Better. The nightmares aren't gone, but they're less frequent." "That's progress. You continuing therapy?" "Twice a week, like you recommended." "Good, because this is when the real work begins." The speech was cathartic, but healing is a marathon, not a sprint. "I know. I'm trying." "That's all any of us can do." They sat in comfortable silence for a moment. Chen's phone rang. She looked at the screen and frowned. "I need to take this. Emergency." She stepped out. Maya was alone in the lounge. She pulled out her own phone, scrolled through the messages from strangers, read stories of people who'd found hope in her words. One caught her attention. "I'm a Navy wife. My husband came home from deployment broken. Won't talk, won't sleep, won't let me in. I showed him your speech. He cried for the first time in 2 years. We're getting counseling together. Thank you for saving our marriage." Maya closed her eyes, let herself feel the weight of it, the responsibility, the honor, the fear that she couldn't live up to what people needed her to be. But she was trying, and maybe that was enough. Chen returned 20 minutes later. Her face was pale. "What's wrong?" "That was the crisis line. Veteran called in threatening suicide. They've been on the phone with him for 40 minutes. He won't stand down, won't give his location. But he keeps asking for you." Maya's blood went cold. "From me?" "Says he watched your speech. Says you're the only person who understands." The crisis counselor thinks if you talk to him, it might make a difference. "I'm not trained for this. I'm not a counselor." "No, but you're someone who's been where he is, someone he trusts. That might be enough." Maya's hands shook. "What if I say the wrong thing? What if I make it worse? What if you save his life?" Maya stood. "Put me on the phone." Chen dialed, handed Maya the phone. A male voice, rough with tears. "Hello? This is Maya Washington. I heard you wanted to talk to me." Silence. Breathing. Then, "You're really her?" "I'm really me. What's your name?" "David. David Walsh. Marines. 2 tours Afghanistan." "Hi, David. Tell me what's going on." "I can't do this anymore. I've tried. I really tried. But it's too hard. The pain won't stop. The memories won't stop. I just want it to stop." Maya's heart hammered. "I know that feeling. I've been there. I've stood where you're standing and thought the same thing." "Then you get it. You understand why this is the only way out." "I understand why it feels like the only way out. But David, it's not. There are other options, other paths. I promise you that." "You don't know that. You don't know my pain." "You're right. I don't know your specific pain. But I know what it's like to lose people you love, to survive when they didn't, to wake up every day and wonder why you're still breathing when better people aren't." Silence. "I lost my whole team in Kandahar," Maya continued. 7 people. My family. And I spent 2 years wanting to die because I thought that's what I deserved. But David, dying doesn't honor them. Living does. Fighting does. Showing the world that their sacrifice meant something because we kept going. I'm so tired of fighting." "I know. God, I know. But you don't have to fight alone. Let people help you.
Let me help you. How? You can't fix this. Nobody can fix this. You're right, I can't fix it. But I can sit in it with you. I can understand it. I can remind you that you're not alone, that other people have survived this pain and you can too. I don't want to survive. I want it to be over. Maya's voice cracked. If you do this, David, you're not ending the pain. You're passing it on. To your family, your friends, to every veteran who hears about it and thinks, if you couldn't make it, maybe they can't either.
Is that what you want? To make other people hurt the way you're hurting?
I don't have family. I don't have friends. Nobody would care.
I'd care. The counselor on the line with you cares. The people who served with you care. You matter, David. Your life matters. Even on the days you don't believe it. Breathing, ragged, broken. I watched your speech 15 times. You said broken doesn't mean useless. You said we just need help putting the pieces back together. I meant it, every word. What if there are too many pieces? What if I'm too broken to fix? Then we start with one piece, just one. Today you choose to stay alive. Tomorrow you call the VA. Next week you go to a support group. One piece at a time. One day at a time. That's all healing is. I'm scared. Being scared means you still care. That's good. That means there's still something worth fighting for. Silence stretched. Maya could hear sirens in the background on David's end.
Are those sirens for you?
Maya asked gently. Yeah, the counselor traced my call. Cops are here.
Good. Let them help you. Go to the hospital, get evaluated. Let professionals keep you safe until you can keep yourself safe.
Will you visit me? After? If I go? Maya's throat closed.
Yes, I'll visit. I promise. But you have to choose to stay, David. You have to let them help you.
More silence. Then, okay, I'll go. I'll try.
That's all anyone can ask. Thank you for staying.
Thank you for fighting. The crisis counselor came back on the line. He's cooperating. Police are taking him to Northwestern Hospital for evaluation. You did it, Maya. You talked him down. Maya handed the phone back to Chen. Her hands were shaking violently. You saved his life, Chen said. I just talked to him. That's all it takes sometimes. The right person saying the right words at the right time. Maya sat down. Her legs wouldn't hold her.
This is going to keep happening, isn't it? People are going to keep reaching out, keep asking me to save them.
Probably. You've become a symbol. That comes with responsibility.
I don't want to be a symbol. I just want to be a nurse.
You can be both. But Maya, you need support too. You can't pour from an empty cup. Promise me you'll keep going to therapy. Keep leaning on your support system. I promise. The rest of the shift passed in a blur. Maya went through the motions, changed 4 verses, checked vitals, made notes, but her mind was with David Walsh, hoping he was okay, hoping she'd said the right things. When her shift ended at 7 a.m., she didn't go straight home. She drove to Northwestern Hospital, asked about David Walsh. The intake nurse checked her computer. Are you family? I'm the person who talked him down. I promised I'd visit. The nurse's expression softened. He's in the psychiatric unit, 4th floor, but visiting hours don't start until noon.
I'll come back.
Maya went home, showered, changed, tried to sleep but couldn't. Her mind wouldn't stop replaying the phone call, every word, every pause, every moment where David could have chosen differently. At 11:45 a.m., she returned to Northwestern.
David Walsh was in a private room on the psychiatric floor. He looked younger than Maya expected, maybe 30. Dark hair, haunted eyes, an IV in his arm. He looked up when she entered. His eyes widened.
You came. I thought you were just saying that to keep me on the phone. I don't say things I don't mean.
Maya pulled up a chair.
How are you feeling? Tired, embarrassed, relieved, maybe? I don't know.
He looked at his hands.
Thank you for last night, for not giving up on me. I've been where you are. Someone didn't give up on me, so I'm paying it forward.
The doctors say I need inpatient treatment. 30 days minimum.
I'm scared. Good. Fear means you're alive.
Fear means you're fighting. I don't feel like I'm fighting. I feel like I'm drowning.
Then let the doctors throw you a life raft. Let them help you learn to swim again. David nodded.
Will you come back while I'm here? I don't have anyone else.
I'll come back. Once a week. That's a promise.
Why? You don't even know me.
Maya thought about her team, about all the people who'd helped her without being asked, about Grace and Elijah and Dr.
Sen and everyone who'd shown up when she needed them.
Because we're supposed to help each other. That's what being human means.
She stayed for an hour, talked about nothing important, just presence, just showing up. When she left, David was smiling, a small smile, fragile, but real. Maya drove to Grace Carter's house for Elijah's celebration. The house was small but filled with people, family, friends, neighbors, all there to celebrate a boy who'd survived and chosen to make something of his pain. Elijah saw her from across the room and waved. He walked over, still moving carefully. The bullet wound had healed but left him cautious.
You came. Mom said you would, but I wasn't sure.
I said I would. I keep my promises.
Come meet my cousin. He's Army. Came back from Syria last year. He's been struggling. I told him about you.
Elijah introduced her to Marcus, a young man with tired eyes and a forced smile.
My cousin won't shut up about you, Marcus said. Says you're some kind of superhero.
I'm not. I'm just someone who's been through hard things and survived.
Yeah, well, I've been through hard things too. Not sure I'm surviving as much as existing.
There's a difference?
Isn't there? Maya looked him in the eye.
Existing is showing up. Surviving is finding reasons to keep showing up.
The good news is, you get to choose which one you want to do.
Something flickered in Marcus's expression. How do you find reasons? You start small. Today, your reason is your family. Tomorrow, maybe it's a phone call with a counselor. Next week, a support group. You build reasons one day at a time until you have enough to hold on to. Is that what you did? Every single day. Still doing it. Marcus nodded slowly. Maybe I'll try that. The support group thing. I can send you information. Places that helped me. Yeah, okay, thanks. Grace appeared with a plate of food. Maya, eat. You look thin. I'm fine. No arguments. Sit. Eat. Let people take care of you for once. Maya sat. Let herself be part of the celebration. Let herself laugh and talk and be present. Around 4 p.m., her phone rang. Colonel Brennan. I've got news. The VA wants to hire you as a peer support specialist, part-time. You'd work with veterans transitioning to civilian life. Talk to them. Guide them. Be the person you needed when you got out. Maya's heart skipped.
I don't know if I'm qualified.
You're more qualified than anyone. You've lived it. That's the only qualification that matters.
I'm still a nurse. That's my career.
This wouldn't replace nursing, Just supplement it. Few hours a week. Your schedule. Your terms. Think about it. Maya looked around Grace's house, at Elijah and Marcus, at people finding hope in small moments. I'll think about it. That's all I ask. She hung up, sat with the possibility of helping veterans not just through emergency medicine, but through the slow, difficult work of rebuilding lives. It terrified her, and excited her, and felt right in a way nothing had felt right in years. The next week, Maya visited David Walsh at the psychiatric hospital. Then she went to work. Then she called the VA and said yes to the peer support position. Her life became a rhythm. Nursing 3 nights a week, VA work 2 afternoons, therapy twice a week, support group on Saturdays. Slowly, carefully, intentionally building a life that meant something. 2 months after the hospital incident, Maya attended her first team reunion, the gathering of her old military friends who'd served in different units but shared the same scars. They met at a restaurant in downtown Chicago. 8 veterans, all dealing with their own demons, all showing up anyway. Lieutenant Wells raised his glass. To the ones who didn't make it home, and to those of us still fighting to figure out what home means. They drank, they talked, they laughed and cried and remembered. And for the first time, Maya didn't feel like an outsider. She felt like she belonged. Near the end of the night, Sarah Kim pulled her aside. "You're different. Lighter, somehow. Like you're not carrying the whole world anymore." "I'm not. I learned to share the weight." "Good, because we've been worried about you for years. Glad you finally let us in." "Me too." Maya drove home that night, feeling something she hadn't felt in years. Peace. Not the absence of pain, but the presence of purpose. The knowledge that her life mattered, that her survival meant something. She arrived at her apartment and found someone waiting outside her door. Dante Rivers' mother. The woman was maybe 55, worn down by life and loss. She looked up when Maya approached. "I'm sorry to show up like this. I didn't know how else to reach you." "Mrs. Rivers, what are you doing here?" "I needed to see you, to thank you for what you did for my son." "I didn't do anything." "You showed him there was another way. You gave him hope when I'd given up on him." Her voice cracked. "I lost one son to violence. I thought I'd lost the other to revenge. But you saved him. Not from prison, from himself." "How is he?" "Good. Better than he's been in years. He writes me every week, tells me about his classes, his plans, his dreams. He's becoming the man Marcus wanted to be." Tears streamed down Mrs. Rivers' face. "I blamed myself for everything. For not protecting them better, for not seeing the signs, for letting them get involved with gangs. But Dante's therapist says I can't carry that blame forever. That I have to forgive myself the way Dante's learning to forgive himself." Maya understood that struggle intimately. It's hard, forgiving ourselves, harder than forgiving other people. How do you do it? One day at a time, one choice at a time, choosing to believe that we're more than our worst mistakes. Mrs. Rivers reached into her purse and pulled out an envelope. "Dante wanted me to give this to you. Another letter. He writes you every month but doesn't send them. Says he doesn't want to burden you. But this one he wanted you to have." Maya took the letter. "Thank you." "No. Thank you. For seeing my son as a person instead of a monster. For giving him a second chance. That's grace I'll never be able to repay." She left. Maya opened the letter. "Dear Maya, I've been thinking about what you said, about honoring the people we lose by becoming better. I'm trying. Every day I wake up and I choose to be someone Marcus would be proud of. I study. I learn. I plan for a future I didn't think I deserved. And it's because of you. Because you showed me that broken people can heal if they're willing to do the work. I'm doing the work. And someday, when I get out, I'm going to help other kids avoid the mistakes I made. That's my promise to Marcus. And to you. Thank you for not giving up on me. Dante. Maya folded the letter carefully, added it to the growing collection. Evidence that change was possible, that hope was real, that second chances mattered. 6 months after that night on the 6th floor, Maya stood in front of a new group of veterans at the VA. Her second speaking engagement. Less pressure than the conference, but still nerve-wracking. She looked out at the faces, some young, some old, all carrying invisible wounds. My name is Maya Washington. I'm a combat veteran, a nurse, and someone who spent 2 years trying to outrun her trauma. I'm here to tell you that you can't outrun it. You can only face it. And you don't have to face it alone. She spoke for 30 minutes, told her story, answered questions, connected with people who understood. Afterward, a young woman approached, early 20s, army patch on her jacket. I deployed to Afghanistan 3 years ago, lost my best friend to an IED. I've been blaming myself ever since. But hearing you talk about your team, about carrying them by living well, it changed something. Thank you. What's your name? Emily. Emily Rodriguez. Emily, your friend wouldn't want you to stop living because she did. She'd want you to live twice as hard. For both of you. Emily nodded, crying. I'm going to try. I'm going to really try. That's all any of us can do. Maya left the VA and drove to the hospital. Her shift started in an hour. She had time to grab coffee and check in with Patricia. But when she arrived, something was different. The staff was gathered in the break room, serious faces, concerned whispers. Maya's heart sank. What happened? Patricia looked up. Elijah Carter's in the ER. Someone shot him outside his college. He's in surgery now. The world tilted. Maya ran. The ER was chaos. Doctors shouting, nurses running, blood on the floor. She found Grace in the waiting room. The woman was on her knees, praying, crying, breaking. Maya dropped beside her. Grace, I'm here. I'm here. Grace looked up. They shot him again. Different gang, different reason. Same result.
My baby's dying, and I can't stop it.
He's not dying. He's fighting, and we're going to fight with him. Dr. Chen came out. His face was grim. Grace, Maya, he's critical. The bullet hit his lung. We're doing everything we can. Can I see him? Grace asked. Not yet. We need to stabilize him first. Grace collapsed into Maya's arms. They waited. Hours. Maya held Grace and prayed to a God she wasn't sure believed in her. Finally, Dr. Chen returned. He's stable. It was close, but he's going to make it. Grace sobbed, relief and exhaustion and gratitude all mixed together.
Thank you. Thank God. Thank you.
Maya felt something break open inside her chest. All the times she couldn't save someone, all the people she'd lost, all the prayers that went unanswered. But this one, this time, Elijah lived. And maybe that was enough. Maybe that was everything. 3 days later, Elijah woke up. Maya was there. You keep saving me, he said weakly. I keep showing up. You keep fighting. We make a good team. I'm tired of fighting. I know, but you don't get to quit. Too many people need you. Your mom, Marcus, all the kids you're going to help someday.
What if I can't help anyone? What if I'm too broken?
Maya took his hand. Broken people help broken people best. Because we understand. Because we've been there. Because we know the way back. Elijah squeezed her hand. Teach me. Teach me how to do what you do.
How to take the pain and make it mean something.
I will. I promise. And Maya kept that promise. Over the months that followed, she mentored Elijah, helped him process his trauma, guided him toward healing. She watched him graduate, watched him get accepted to the police academy, watched him become the kind of man who helped instead of hurt. She watched David Walsh complete treatment, watched him get a job, watched him rebuild his life. She watched Dante Rivers get his college degree from prison, watched him plan for a future dedicated to helping at-risk youth. She watched Marcus, Elijah's cousin, join a support group, watched him start therapy, watched him choose to keep living. She watched herself heal. Slowly, imperfectly, but genuinely. 2 years after that night on a 6th floor, Maya stood at the memorial wall for her team. 7 names carved in stone. She placed flowers at the base, touched each name. I'm okay now. Finally. It took a long time, a lot of help, a lot of hard days. But I'm okay. I hope that makes you proud. I hope you know that I'm living for all of us, that your deaths weren't meaningless, that I'm making sure they mattered by helping other people survive what I survived. The wind blew, carried her words away, and Maya felt, for the first time, like she'd been heard. She walked away from the memorial, not running, not hiding, just moving forward, because that's what warriors did. They fought. They survived. They helped others do the same. And Maya Washington, the quiet nurse who'd spent 2 years being invisible, was finally, truly visible. Not as a hero, not as a symbol, but as a human being who'd survived trauma and chosen to make it mean something. She drove to the hospital. Her shift started in an hour. Patients were waiting. Lives needed saving. And Maya was ready. Not because she had all the answers, not because she was healed completely, but because she'd learned that showing up was enough, that trying was enough, that being human, with all its mess and pain and beauty, was enough. She clocked in exactly on time, walked onto the 6th floor, smiled at Patricia. Ready for another night? Always. And she was. Ready for the work, ready for the struggle, ready for the moments of grace that made it all worthwhile. Because Maya Washington had learned the most important lesson of all. You don't heal by forgetting. You heal by remembering and choosing to keep living anyway. And that was exactly what she planned to do. Claude is AI and can make mistakes. Please double-check responses. Sonnet 4.5